All right, so let me get right into it as I always do. So earlier today I was on this like debate panel with some black dudes from the conscious community, right? And they back and forth discussing with me. We discussed our different viewpoints on being black males in America, and to me, they had more of a black victimization component to what they were saying, and I more had and me I more was like, what's the problem? Here's a way of how to solve the problem, which created like some turmoil. I didn't understand why it created turmoil or whatever it may be, but I'm like, I'm a problem solver. That's why I try to explain it to them and stuff. I'm a REVO, and my thing is to be able to revolutionize things. It's like if something is old, I want to revolutionize it to be better. If it's something that's gorgeous, I want to make it even more gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? So I just had that type of mentality. I feel like that's the way the world is. It's to the future. It's not going backwards. It's going to the future. So we just had a difference in opinions and everything, and then the name calling started. And just because I thought differently from them, um, they felt offended and they felt like I was some type of Uncle Tom, white supremacy dude, or whatever it may be, right? I get that. I get that. I get that a lot. You know what I'm saying? I know I get that a lot because I have solutions. Like I don't get wrapped up into the victimization of it, and I don't get wrapped up so much of what the problem is. I try to find out, okay, what is the solution? What needs to be done in order to solve the problem? I'm not a problem talker. I'm more of a problem. I talk about the problem, then I create a solution and create a cure for it if I can. That's me. And they were just going like tripping on me. Like, so it was like dudes was like, so they started talking about Africa and shit. They was like, oh, you're not in touch with your culture. Black people, we are the original Hebrews. One dude was saying that. One dude was saying like, we the original Israelites and everything. And civilization started in Africa. You're not practicing your African culture, all this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You really from this region of Africa. Like they were telling me where I was from and all that. And I was like, how do you know these things? Right? Have you done some research on my ancestral like journey or where I come from for you to even make that decision? And they get mad at me when I ask questions. That was one thing. When I'm asking questions, they seem to get really, really upset. So I invited the questions. I was like, okay, go ahead and talk. So I was looking at it. I know I have my perspective and I know I have the way that I think. But then I was like, okay, let me hear what you have to say. I'm not like that. Let me learn. That's why I kept telling them. I was like, let me learn from you. Okay, well, what do you feel like? You know what I'm saying? What is your belief system? And they were just telling me, oh, we read all these different books, the melanin and the skin and all this type of stuff, and Africa's the way the resources, and this is where you come from, and all that type of stuff. So I was like, all right, cool. All right, I say fine. But the thing I just didn't understand was why are you still in America? And when I said go back to Africa to these people on the panel, they really lost it. They really lost it. And I wasn't saying it in a disrespectful way. I was more saying it in a problem solving way. Because all of them had the same type of feeling about America. They believed in systematic racism. They believed in mass incarceration. They believed in the mistreatment of the black male. They didn't believe black on black crime existed. They all pretty much had the same type of similarities in their belief system. But then I was like saying like, okay, but before that, let me say this. Let me say this. When I said go back to Africa, they was talking about why should I go back to Africa when my ancestors died to be on this land or whatever like that to live here. And then I was asking, I was like, well, and they talking about how the ancestors helped build America, like America wouldn't have been built without their ancestors. So I was like, who is your ancestors? Like, what is that person's name, and what did they specifically build in America that you know? Name calling again. And I feel like that is a valid question. If you say your ancestors built something in America, if you say that and you believe that is true, then you should also be able to tell me the name of that ancestor. And then you should now also be able to tell me what specifically did that ancestors build. Those ancestors built. What did they build? Did they build some railroads? Did they build some houses? Did they build whatever it is in America that you said that they built? You should be able to tell me, and really pretty much have evidence that that happened. If you don't have those things, how is you expecting me to believe it? I don't believe that shit. I believe you don't. Like I told him this. I don't believe none of y'all pretty much know where y'all came from, because it's really pretty much impossible to find out. It's pretty much impossible to find out. You really don't know. You're guessing. And you're guessing based on another person's interpretation of what they told you. So what that person told you, you want me to believe that shit. And I just don't believe it. Because I'm just like, when I said go back to Africa, I was simply saying like, look, if Africa is the mecca of civilization, and if Africa was this huge kingdom of goods and resources, and it's the ancestral land, why you don't go back to your ancestral land? If you found out what your culture was, right? And if you found out what tribe you came from, and you traced your lineage all the way back to, say it's like Sierra Leone, or say it's like Sudan in that area, right? You traced it back, right? And you're telling me that you honor your ancestors, and you telling me this is where your people came from, and you blame America for stealing your ancestors and bringing them to America to build something, and you are a descendant of that tribe, why you don't go back to the source? Why you don't go back to Sudan and live? If you know this, because you have a home. Why stay in America when you have a home? Why be brutalized? America is brutalizing you so much. Why are you still living in America when you have a home to go to? You know exactly, these people was telling me, you know exactly where you came from. If you was original Hebrews, you know exactly where that land is right now, right? Why don't you go there and live? If you are a black Israelite, why don't you go there and live where those Israelites were living? And that's where your people from. Go on the ancestral land and absorb the nature and the environment and become the greatest you possibly can be. I was saying that in a problem-solving context. Not being disrespectful, it's be able to solve your problem. If you being brutalized in America, you have a home, you should be able to go to it. Because these people was telling me about, the environment, the black man needs to be in a tropical environment. He needs to be where the best air is. He needs to be where the melanin in his skin can absorb the fucking sun rays and he can think better. I'm like, okay, why are you here in America and that place is in Africa? Why are you arguing with these people in this country who don't believe in none of that shit you're talking about? Why are you arguing with them when you could just take a trip right to that place and live there? That is what I just did not understand about that conversation. Like, why is they still? It was just terrible to me. It was borderline funny to a certain degree because they got mad with the solutions. I'm like, if melanin in your skin, right? That was another topic. We talking about melanin. If melanin in your skin makes you a better thinker, right? If the sun activates the melanin in your skin and it makes you a better thinker, if that is your theory, why are you not living in the place where the sun is the best for your skin? And then they start saying shit like they start saying like I don't have the means to do it, I don't have the money to do it. What is stopping you from going there? Really what's stopping you going over there is money. That's pretty much what's stopping you going there. And your heart and shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Because in the time, because these people were older, they was like in their early 30s all the way up to like their mid 50s, around that age bracket. And I'm like, I know you done came across $200 to $2,000, $5,000 to leave. The American dollar is higher over there anyway, so you'd be able to be straight with the money part. So I know you are able in that time frame in your studies was able to come up with enough money to be able to take a trip and live there. At least live there for 6 months. At least live there for 90 days. I know in the time frame of you learning this your belief system or whatever it is you believe. I know you have got money to be able to do that, but you didn't. And I'm asking you, why didn't you go? I believe the reason why they don't go is because the energy of Africa is not calling their asses over there. Them ancestors ain't calling you over there. That spirit is not calling you over there at all. Because you're not from there. You're gonna listen. This is the shit I was trying to explain to him. Like, I remember where they say it's kind of like just say I'm born in Milwaukee, right? That's where I was born at. That's where I was raised at, pretty much. Is in Milwaukee. When I go live somewhere else, I go to LA or whatever like that, right? And I'll go to Vegas and I'll go to Seattle. And then when I start saying like I miss home, right? Damn, I'm homesick. When everybody said they're homesick, where are you saying the problem is that where do you want to go back? You want to go back to the place you grew up. You're not thinking I want to go back to Africa. Your soul and your mind is not thinking about Africa. Your soul and your mind is thinking about the place where you were born and raised at. And the place that gave you some sense of happiness. That's what you're missing. You're not thinking about no Africa. Them ancestors ain't calling you to come back to Africa. Those genetics are not in those conscious people, dude. Like, they're not going back. Now, there's some people who do go back. There's some people who do go back. Yeah. But these individuals, no. And then when I solve the problem, I'm like, just go back, dude, to the original source, man. If it's better air there, if there's better sun there, all the benefits that you're telling me right now that come from your ancestors, that came from your culture, that came from your tribe, and all this type of stuff, and you telling me all these benefits, why are you not living where the benefits are? Why are you living in a land? Because you have freedom now. So nobody's stopping you. That's another thing. It's like, you tell me your ancestors were stolen from this place, but now you have freedom and you won't go back to that place? Isn't that a disrespect to their ancestors, I'm thinking? The ancestors get captured, enslaved in America. Now, you have freedom, but you won't go back to the place where you know your ancestors came from. That's why I don't believe the ancestor shit. I believe it's all like excuses and shit and blaming people. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know who their ancestors are. They're guessing. They don't have an emotional connection to no slave. And that's the problem, I think, like in the black culture too, is that they think we're all the same based off of skin color. And I've done experiments. And one of the first things made me realize to do an experiment is that when I was in, where was I at, man? I was in I think I was Alabama. I was in Montgomery, Alabama. You know what I'm saying? And I seen another dude that had the same dark skin complexion as me. And I said, "What's up, man? What's going on, man? What's up with you?" Like that, just being respectful, whatever, like that. He started talking to me in another language. It's like Spanish and shit. And I had no idea. Immediately, just because of his skin color, I felt like he was just like me, and I was wrong. And that helped me realize later on down the line and stuff that you cannot say we're the same based off of skin color. Because we're not. And see, in that conscious community, it's like crazy because I believe in individualism. I don't believe that we're all collectively the same. I believe those people have no idea where they came from. You can't tell me where I come from based off my skin color. You can't tell me my family lineage based off my skin color. Right there, when they say like you're from here and you don't know nothing about me, I'd be like, you're lying, dog. You're stupid. That is impossible for you to know if you haven't done no research on my ancestry tree. You have no idea. Because right there, you're judging me based off my skin color. You think we're all the same. You think we're all niggas or something. And that'd be the main thing. That'd be the main thing. That'd be like a serious problem. That's why I say, man, if America is brutalizing you, why don't you just go home? If you know that's your home. You say they telling me that Jesus was black. I'm like, okay, he was black. If you think that you're like Jesus or you think you're like a God, go where Jesus was at. Go live there. Because they keep talking to me, telling me about nature and the environment. They keep saying stuff like your environment is going to make you smarter. Your environment is going to fuel you to be more of what your purpose and what you're supposed to be. Your environment is going to activate the ancestors in your genetics. This is what these people were saying, right? It could be true or it cannot be true. But if they believe it, right? If they believe what they're telling me, then why are you not over there where all that is at? Why are you still in cold ass fucking Michigan? This other dude is in motherfucking New York. And the other dude was where? Where he was at? He was like, I think he was like in Little Rock and shit. Why are you still there? Why don't you just go back to Africa? And the problem is, they don't want to go back to Africa. I need to know why though. I need to know why they want to go back. Why they don't. And then when I start asking why, then people start getting really mad. And I was like, man, this is not for us to be arguing about, man. And that's one thing I learned about. I learned this about like religious people, and I learned this about black males in the conscious community and black women as well. I learned about them as well. Is that when you start asking a lot of questions, they get frustrated. They start calling you names. If I don't understand something, you're teaching me something, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm not just going to naturally just believe everything you said. I am going to ask some questions. Me, personally, I am. And I'm going to listen to your answers. You don't have to call. That's what I'm saying. These people talk about their teachers. How do you call me racial names or say I'm an Uncle Tom because I'm asking questions about your belief system? If you're a teacher and you have a student or somebody want to learn about what you're teaching, how you're disrespecting the person who's asking the questions about your belief system? That means you're lying. You don't believe in that shit for real. That ain't hard for me to figure out. It may be hard for somebody else, but I know you don't believe in that shit. And then I'm trying to figure out why are you teaching people that, and if you should be stopped or not. And then I went on, and black women too. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had discussions with them, dude, and it's like they start defending these dudes, and I'm like, okay. Then they try to tell me, like, this one girl was like trying to define what manhood to me is. Like, you haven't been around the right kind of man, and this, that, and that, and to be able to teach you blah 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 blah. And then I look, and then immediately I know what certain question to ask. So I asked a couple girls, and I was like, both black girls. One girl was from where was she from? She was from um um Phoenix, and the other girl was from where was she from? I think she was like from Fort Lauderdale somewhere, like Broward County somewhere, right? So and they in the conscious community as well. And I'm like, do you got children? And one girl was like saying like, yeah, I got 3 children, and the other girl had one, right? So I was like, well, I said, I bet you that you can't take your children to the father's house and he watched his own child for 6 months and give you a break. And during that break, all you were doing was studying about your belief system. You were going to college and you were building your own empire because both of them was working on their own business. So you're building your own empire. You're going to school, being educated. And I bet you cannot give your own child to the person you picked, right? The person you picked to have sex with. And he gave you children. And you can't take your children over there. He watched them by himself for 6 months in a row while you do what you got to do. I'm like, you cannot sit there and tell me, to give me no definition of what manhood is. If you can't, if a man that you had a baby by cannot watch his own kid for 6 months, and not just watch his own kid for 6 months, but it's watching his own kid while you do something productive in your life, like go to school and learn more about your craft and learn more about your business and everything, so you could be the best business owner that you possibly can be. Because a lot of times women be having beautiful ass ideas, but they be having the kids and they can't concentrate. They need a babysitter. Well, no. If you're trying to do that, give them kids to their own father. And both of them told me they wouldn't do it. And I'm like, why you ain't gonna do it? Like what's the problem? One girl's like, oh, I don't trust him like that. He got something else going on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, You picked a man who doesn't value you as a woman and don't even care about his own kid. Because I'm thinking, like, whatever he is doing in his life, you mean to tell me he can't find a way to be able to watch his own child while he does that? And I was just like, man, y'all full of shit. You can't tell me nothing, man, like that. Doing about no, like, manhood, like on that degree. If you can't do that, I'm not listening to that shit. Because look at the man y'all chose. Look at the man y'all chose who don't even honor fucking fatherhood. Like, that is really crazy to me. Now that I think about it, that is really crazy. That most of these black males out here, they get them girls pregnant and they abandon the kids and the mother, and she has to struggle. And that girl picked that dude. And they want to tell me the type of man I should be. And you picked a dude that won't even watch his own child. Like, 6 months is a long time. He not even gonna watch that kid for 6 days. And barely will watch him for 6 hours, man. I'm like, man, y'all gotta be real, dude. Like, for real, dude. Stop the bullshit. You know, you drop the kid off, dude. You drop the kid off, man, to him for 6 hours. He is going to be complaining. He's going to turn immediately handicapped. He's going to have a problem. He's going to be irritated. And how are you irritated when you have possession of your own child, the second you, the revolutionized human of yourself? Like, how are you irritated like that? How do you don't find time to spend and joy with that? You should be telling the mother and stuff, I got him. You should be fighting with the mother so much as to who's going to watch them the most. That's what I'm thinking in my head. But it's just like I talk to people, both sides in the conscious community. I talk to the women, I talk to the men, and it's just simple to me, man. It's like, look, go back to Africa, man. Go back to that source. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for you to be brutalized in over here in America when you have a home. Because America does not give a fuck about that African culture. What America is going to do is, America already mastered that culture. So what America is going to do is, they're going to be like, yeah, like, we know about it. It's not no threat to America. You're not going to take the African culture and defeat anything that America is doing right now to black people. That culture is outdated. That culture is from the 1600s you're talking about. You know how, dude, the world is revolutionized so much, dude, that culture you're talking about, all them books you fucking read, is not going to help you be better in America. What it will do is, all those books you read, what it will do, it'll help you be better in the place where they're talking about in those books. If they're talking about your culture came from Sudan, and you're reading about that book about Sudan kings and queens used to do this, and you figure out, you know what I mean, you like that book, and that's where it's at, then you need to go to Sudan. Why stay in America? Like I told them all, go back to Africa, man.